Page 10, Beach Ball Bounce. This looks like kind of a fun piece, but sometimes that can be misleading. Let's get into it and find out. I look it over, it's a page long. Treble bass clef, the 3/4 time signatures. Now it's only 3 counts in a measure. I see quarter notes and dotted half notes. Remember, a dotted half note is the same as 3 quarter notes. So if a quarter note gets a count, which it does, then a dotted half note gets 3 counts, which happens to be the whole measure. And you won't have any whole notes here. You can't have a whole note because a whole note will get 4 counts, and that's not legal in 3/4 time. You can't have anything longer than 3 counts. Now, you can make a note last longer than 3 counts, but you can't have like a whole note. Because if you look at like measure 15 and 16, the bottom line, that bottom staff, you got a C tied to a C. Well, that note's going to last 6 counts because you got 2 C's tied together. One hand at a time, let's make sure we know what we're doing here. Right hand is here, 1 and 3. You're in this position to start. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then an F and a G. 1, 2. You think, well, they're not quite under each other. You play them at the same time? And the answer is yes, because they come on the same beat. In the third measure, you get a rest on beat 1, and on beat 2, you get both of those notes. So you play them at the same time. It's beat 2, 2, 3, 1, 2. And then measure 5, while the left hand is playing, you got to move the right hand down. You got somewhere, while the left hand is playing, you get down here, be ready to go. So in measure 6, you're already there. Don't wait till measure 6 to move. That's too late. Move during measure 5 to come down. Measure 6, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And then in measure 9, you got 1 beat to come back up. So is it 1, you lift up and move. 1, 2, 3, you do that. Now at the beginning, they have you in 1 and 3 in this position, and you're moving down to here, and you're moving back up to here. You're moving around a little bit. I'm guessing they're doing that to get you to move the hand, because you got to learn to move the hand. It's a good exercise. However, you could play this whole thing with the right hand in this position. You could use 3 and 5 there. You don't have to use. Then you're not moving at all. You're doing it all there, here in the middle C position. I'm guessing they want you to move for the practice, because if you look at measure 6, they're telling you 4th finger. And then when you look at measure 9, they're telling you 1 and 3 again. Move back up for that. And then measure 14, you're moving down again. But then in measure 16, they don't say anything. Well, that would tell me I'm going to stay there. I'm just going to stay there. I'm going to end it there. However, I chose to be consistent because I've been doing this all along. I chose in measure 16 to go ahead and move back up because that's the way I've been playing the rest of it. I see no reason to stay here if I'm going to play the other part up here. I want to be consistent. So either I'm going to play the right hand stuff here all the way through, or I'm going to play it here all the way through. Either way, but I don't want to be doing part of it in one and part of it in another. Not a bad idea in some cases because you get to use different fingers. It's good practice. You get these or these. It's good practice. Especially with the awkward fingers. But still, I think it's important in fingering to be consistent. And learning fingering, learning how to figure out fingering is one of the many things you need to learn in playing a piano. A lot of teachers really don't teach fingering, and that's unfortunate. They just do whatever the book tells you to do. I want you to understand why it's going on. Left hand, we're starting here. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And the left hand's not moving around, it's right there. So let's put the hands together. Now I go a little fast. You take it nice and slow, and if you hesitate right now, that's okay. We just want to see how the hands are working together. 1. Here. Move the right hand down as you're playing this. And then lift up and move, and you're going to play the left hand, and as you play it, you move the right hand. The last line, both hands together. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then here. These. Okay. So put the hands together, and then I'll go over it maybe a line at a time slowly and get rid of the hesitation. So it's a steady beat. Once the hesitations are gone, I'll add the dynamic, the louds and softs. Medium loud. Not loud, just sort of loud. I don't know, just sort of loud. Now where I'm. Yeah. And then the speed. Bouncy and happy. Oh, good. Bouncy and happy is not a speed. It's a mood. And a lot of times in music, rather than telling you the speed, they'll tell you the mood of the piece, and you get to decide on how fast or slow you want to do that mood. Oh, well, be bouncy and happy if you're going to bounce a ball. Somewhere where the 1, and these, you have a little silence anyway because they're repeated notes. If you want to play them a little shorter, that makes it a little bouncier. That's part of interpreting the music. You decide on how long or short you're going to play those, but I would play them a little shorter so they can bounce better. Now, that's only when you have these. If it's part of the melody, like in the second line, you're going to connect it. Then back here. Now, the last line, it's both hands together. Measure 22, let's talk about that. This is a challenge. You have to lift up on repeated notes. You can't connect them. The left hand, you can connect it. So can you connect the left hand while lifting up in the right? Or do you lift up in both? You know, there's a difference. I'm encouraging you now, because we need to learn to do this. Connect the left hand. Go real slow. Lift up. Get ready. Lift up. Get ready. Until you get that feeling. Until you can do that, we'll lifting up in one hand and connecting the other at the same time. There. That's what I'm challenging you to do. Ha. Once I have the speed, then I think about the interpretation. Remember the natural accents in 3/4 time. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. There's a note on above measure 21, slower to the end, where it's just a little slower, and I keep slowing down. You don't have to, but it's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So I keep slowing down, but that's interpretation. You don't have to. You could just play it slower and stay at one speed. So measure 20 is 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. 3, 1, 2, 3. So I just slowed it down, but I stayed at that speed. Or I prefer slow it down and continue to slow it down gradually. Don't slow down too much or it'll take forever to end, but you get the idea, I hope. What about the phrases? You hear? It sounds like they're in 4 major phrases. You know? So it's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Lift up. Lift up. So I'm doing it in 4 major phrases. So that's how I would interpret the phrasing, the sentences, if you want to lift up for the sentences. I could challenge you a little more, and I probably will in the next book, because there's still a little more we can do with interpretation that's really important. And most teachers won't teach it yet because you're struggling to get the notes and the rhythms. I'm a mean teacher. What can I say? I want you to start practicing it now because some of this stuff takes time to get. So start now. Don't wait until the music's hard and then try and do it. Let's do it now. Let's play this together slowly and check that you have the correct notes and rhythms. Not doing any louds and softs, and I can't do slower till the end. The metronome won't slow down. So I'll give us 3 counts because there's 3 beats in a measure. 1, ready, go. 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 2, 3. 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 2, 3. 2, 3. Off.